Coming up on today's episode.
So try and find someone who feels more genuine to you. It's not like, okay, I've sold this, I've sold that. Anyone can sell. You don't need an agent to sell your property. You can sell it yourselves too.
True.
But try and see if someone is educating you, guiding you, and telling you all the steps and processes and procedures with the time, so that they're making you more comfortable being with them, rather than, okay, I've sold this, I've sold that. Everyone is selling.
I like the way you say that. Dodgy advice and bad decisions can cost you big in real estate. We're here to make sure that doesn't happen. Welcome to the No BS Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Agresta, and it's time to take control of your property journey together.
Hi, my name is Gurpreet Singh. I'm a real estate agent from Agents Plus. I'm here to do this podcast with Joe. It should be fun.
Welcome back, everyone, to the No BS Real Estate Podcast, your listening how-to guide to the Aussie finance and real estate market. I'm your host, Joe Agresta. Now, let's be real. When most people hear real estate agent, they don't particularly picture trust. They picture underquoting or fake smiles or promises thinner than carpet they're standing on. But what happens when you find an agent who actually gives a damn? One who tells you the truth, even when it costs them a deal. Today's episode is called Underquoting, Overpromising, and the Trust Problem in Real Estate. And my guest, Gurpreet Singh from Agents Plus, is one of the rare ones. And I mean this with my whole heart. He's a straight-talking professional who's seen all the tricks of the trade, but he's built his reputation on doing the opposite. I have so many good things to say about Gurpreet, honestly, because we had a really good coffee and a good chat when we met. And his genuine nature and his passion for the real estate industry, it was so rare to have someone who's been in it for as long as he has. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the state of the industry, what gives real estate agents a bad name, and how honest agents can still win in the game that often rewards bad behaviour. So Gurpreet, thank you for being raw and honest. Thank you for being on the podcast, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me.
Of course. Now, I'm not going to grill you, okay? Because I'm an ex-real estate agent and I was one of the good ones in my opinion. Okay. And I know that we do exist, but we can't ignore the fact that people love to talk about all the horror stories, you know. And I'm going to say one thing about this, and I'm going to give a disclaimer. Every industry, every profession, every job you see has bad people in it, has shit people in it. You can't avoid it.
That's so true. And they have some great people in it too. That's
right. And the great ones, because this is scientific. I'm going to get scientific now. Yeah. In our brains, our neurons are wired to be negative, okay? Don't forget that. Naturally, we go to the negative more than we go to the positive. It takes us more work to say something positive than it is to react negatively. So that's why often when you have to ask people for a good review, they have to take time, they forget, then they finally do it. Even though they had a great experience, they don't give it to you straight away. But when they have a bad experience, in 0.5 seconds, you know about it. Yes. So this is always what I say is like natural brain chemistry.
I think it is the way.
That's right. So I've got to say, like, when we caught up for coffee, I was just really honestly blown away by like how long you've been in the industry now and how much passion you still have for not just selling property and helping customers, but the way you try and look after everyone in the transaction. So you know, tell me a little bit about your background. Like, take us back to the beginning. When did you first start in real estate?
So I first started in real estate back in 2021, towards the end of it.
Yeah.
So one thing I always loved doing was helping people, helping them, educating them, guiding them in whatever field since I was a kid. So when I wanted to start my career into real estate, and that is something that you are educating and you're guiding people throughout their process, and being that one of the most important decisions in their life is a house is one of the biggest assets one can hold here in Australia. So it made me proud, and it made me feel so good that I'm going to be playing a very major role in people's life, guiding them through the right way, the right decisions, and pointing them to the goals that they want to achieve. So I want to be a part of the journey in a good way and adding some good value in it.
I think you said that so nicely, because I think often people forget, like, buyer's agents exist to represent, purely the buyer, but
Yeah.
this is what real estate agents are paid to do. They're facilitating
Yeah.
a very big transaction here. Like they're helping someone sell a home, but part of that is also bringing those buyers into the picture. But not everything, like I'm sure a lot of you listening go, well, Joe, I've had this experience. An agent didn't do this or an agent didn't do that. But I think if I asked you the same question, when you meet those agents, and I was one of these people, and I've also interacted with them, and Gurpreet's one of them, that when they meet you, you want to help the buyer. You're like, look, I really like you guys. I really want you to get the house. Okay, here's what we need to do. And you start strategizing and helping your buyers just as much as your sellers, and you're just negotiating between the two parties, going, look, these guys, I've brought them up as high as they can. Now it's up to you.
It's up to you.
And that's all we're doing. We're just message deliverers between the two parties of buyer and seller.
Yeah, that's so true. And facilitating both the requirements and their needs. And
it's like you're just negotiating the deal itself, and it's a really tough job.
Sometimes it gets really tough. Yeah, it's true.
But it's rewarding, I find.
It is, definitely.
And this is, I guess, do you remember a moment early in your career when you realised how much kind of mistrust the public had towards agents? Was there a moment that happened to you, or have you experienced it?
Oh, yes, I have. Definitely I've experienced it. Once I went to an appraisal at someone's place, and there was husband and wife. So I was giving them an appraisal, telling them what their property's worth, what are the comparables in the area, how much the other properties are getting sold for, and what are the processes that we're going to take to get you sold.
Yeah.
So it was... One guy was listening to me and the other one was on the phone searching and double checking everything that I was saying. So it was kind of a bit of a disheartening feeling. But it's not on me, but that's on industry. Because some of the people who are not genuine enough, people have burnt themselves and they don't want to get burnt again. And that's fair on their part too, because they're more curious, and at the same time, they're being more careful this time.
Yeah.
So they were like just going through all the information I was saying, and just double checking everything. Okay, is he saying everything right, or is there something that it's not matching to his words versus the information that he's providing?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it's hard. That would be tough to go through that.
But I think it's pretty normal, because it's a stereotype with the real estate agents, basically, that a real estate agent, they are liars, or they're not honest. Yeah. But which is not false, which is true. Some people, they are like that.
Correct.
But not everyone's the same.
No, and and this is why I want to talk about this today, because it's like not everyone is lumped into this boat of being dishonest. It's like, you've run into some unfortunate stereotypes that the industry is branded, and we're going to debunk that today with Gurpreet, because I like that, you can share that kind of story, and you're not even saying that it's a bad thing that they did that. You're like, they've been burnt.
Yeah.
They're going to check now. They're going to make sure.
That's natural. If I was in the issues, I would have done the same.
Yeah.
Because the first time I trusted someone on the basis of what they said to me. Yeah. And I got burnt. So the second time, I'm going to be a bit hesitant in trusting that person again, or that trade again.
Yeah. It makes sense, because you do learn the behavior of, that wasn't good.
And it can be a lot on the stake.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot on the line. That's your biggest asset that we're managing.
Yeah.
And have you ever had clients come to you after being, burned by another agent, where, like in this scenario, and then what did that kind of teach you about how you work? Like, do you ever kind of walk away or have that experience and go, who did they deal with?
Oh, that remembers to, that brings up a scenario in my mind that once I was driving past listing in my patch, and it was listed with some other agent for many months. It was, I think, 4 months nearly when I met that person. And he was an elderly, I think around 80 years old. He was just taking his grocery out from his own car. And I just stopped on the side and said, why are you not selling?
Yeah.
It's been sitting over here for months, and I can see that the price guide that you did it in the early stages was right. I think you should have sold within that range, but what's happening? Why are you not selling? He said, I'm not getting any offers. That was kind of surprising to me. Not even an under offer. He said none.
None in 4 months?
4 months, nothing.
Oh my God.
So he said only one thing has happened is price reductions from this price to that price, from that price to another price. And I said, still, did you have any offer, any verbal offer? And nothing. I was blown away with that. I said, like, who are you dealing with?
Yeah.
So we set a meeting with him and explained him the process. And the funny thing is, he was signed for 6 months.
Oh, why? That's a huge
So
contract.
the property went on the market in January.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, I think, May.
Yeah.
And still, they had, the authority was finishing last of June. So we listed the property. We managed to get it sold. And throughout the whole process, there was one thing he brought up to me. He said, like, Mr. Singh, you did a really good job. And thank you so much. You've been very transparent, honest, and you have valued our time, our money, and our goal. Like, we wanted to go to
Retirement.
retirement home. And now we are thankful to you that we can finally do that.
Yeah.
The house was something that we were waiting on. It was not getting sold. And the worst part is his wife had some knee surgery. So she was kind of on the bed all the time, mostly.
Oh
and
my
being
God.
imagining they were around 80 years old.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Good on you. Like, that's a really good turnaround. I think, like, that conversation of you just stopping and saying, why aren't you sold?
Yes.
And sometimes it's strategy, because what did you shift in your approach versus what their approach was?
So I don't know what their approach was.
Yeah.
Because there was only one thing they pointed out was price reductions.
Right.
I think that was the other approach. But our approach was that we wanted to price it right, make it presentable. We want to make sure that it reaches to the right audience, to the right bias, and to the right bracket. We don't want to, like, put a pie in the sky and then no
See
one
what
comes
happens.
to the open homes. And I don't want to be the guy saying to you again, we need to readjust the price.
Yeah.
We've already wasted a lot of time, and I would love to get you sold, but not just sold, but I want to make you as comfortable and as stress-free as possible in terms of the process and the procedure.
Yeah. And I think that makes a big difference, right?
Yeah.
In terms of how you've approached it and taken a different strategy, because I think a lot of agents do the typical price reduction, and it's like, if there's no traction, that's not the problem.
Yeah. So I think, like, in the starting, when you are guiding the vendor, why don't we talk about the price at the very first stage?
Yeah.
When the first 4 weeks are the really important weeks. That's where your property is under the limelight. Everyone is viewing your property on realestate.com. And if you are overpriced at that point, no one sees you and no one is interested in your property. And by the time you realize it, it's already too late.
Yeah. And then, it is too late. And I don't think people understand how important that beginning of the actual campaign is. That marketing side of thing is one part, but it's also the pricing. If it's wrong from the beginning, you're in trouble from day one.
Yes.
And so it's incredible. Thank you for sharing that, because it's interesting. And, you know, you've built your reputation on integrity, and I get this directly from your reviews. You have many great reviews on realestate.com, on Agent Plus, what do you call it? Rate My Agent.
Rate My Agent.
You've got a very good reputation. In terms of, like, integrity is actually one of the top words that I summarized for your reviews. So I thought that was awesome. What does day-to-day look like for you when everyone else seems to be playing, like, a different kind of game? How does your day-to-day kind of look with your vendors, like when you're selling a property?
Just being transparent, just being honest, and seeing the information. It's not like I'm not the best, but I'm learning every day. So I want to try and do the same with the vendors, because they're not in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
They're doing their own jobs, and I want to guide them. This is what's happening in this game. And I want to make sure that you are aware of this before we take any step further.
Yeah.
Because at the last or at a later stage, the consequences can be really fruitful
Yep.
or it can be the worst. I want to make sure that it's more towards the best side than towards the worst.
Makes sense. And that's what I love about your approach, that you're not just going for, it's about you're leaning into that education of you're learning every day, but let me help them learn as well. Like everything is about that education and about teaching them how to get to those next steps, right?
Yes.
So, and I think, look, this is one of the parts like that I wanted to discuss with you quite honestly, right, is that mistrust in agents, like it probably isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And it's not just about one dodgy agent, it's systematic, right? So I want to dig into, where do you think the industry's trust problem actually began? Like, do you have like an idea of like where this mistrust comes from?
As far as I understand, I think it would have been like some of the agents promising the world to you and delivering nothing, or they just want to buy the business saying, okay, we can get you X amount, whereas your property is only worth Y.
So it's like that not lining up.
Yeah. So everyone would say, okay, because we being the professionals, everyone trusts us. And if we are not being honest and we are misleading them, it's something that we need to take care as well, that we are giving them the right information. We're not just working for getting a sale or just getting the business over. And then rather than working onto the buyer, getting them up in the price, we are working onto the vendors and getting them, okay, you need to come down.
Yeah, and it's that communication that you have to have with them.
Yes.
It makes sense. And I guess, how do tactics like, when you would hear this a lot, like the underquoting is a very big topic in the market at the moment. How, like, I guess, inflate, like underquoting being one, or ghosting clients can damage everyone's reputation here.
Yes.
Even good agents. Like, how do those tactics, like, start to damage your brand when you're the one that's not doing those things?
So sometimes, for example, like I've seen some of the properties being listed, they'll be worth, for example, they'll be worth $1 million and they'll be up on auction, listed from $650 to $750.
My God. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So something like that. It's so when you are underquoting, people, they want to come because they'll find, okay,
it's a bargain.
It's a bargain, or that fits our pocket. Let's go and see the property. But when you ask the agent, okay, how much is it? They'll even want to put in an offer, but the agent says, oh, it's way below. But
that's your guide.
Yeah.
And it impacts like that would be tough to battle when you're going for like appraisals and stuff like that. Battling that's what people have associated, that you're going to do this tactic, and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Pricing is something. It's terms of marketing. You can play with it a little bit, but still staying within the range. It's not like if your vendor is wanting $1 million and you're advertising it at $700,000 or $750,000. Yes, you can do from, let's say, 9 to 990 or something, and we can try and get them $1 million, which they're after. Yeah, saying that their property is worth that much.
Yeah, I get you. So it's like, what you're kind of talking about is like the severe underquoting is what it is. Underquoting is like when it's very obvious that every house on this street has sold for $1 million and this one for some reason is $650,000.
Yes.
Your brain goes, why? And then you can clearly see that that's the tactic, and it's a very reduced price.
Yeah. And any buyer, like buyers are self-educated these days. Everything is up on realestate.com.
It's true.
.au, and they're well aware how much the properties are going for in the area, because no one just goes there and sees the first house and put the offer straight away on the first property they've seen.
That's true.
Everyone is onto the market for at least 3 or 4 months before they are actively looking to buy now.
Yeah.
So they're well aware, and I don't know how some of the agents will think, okay, let's put it so low that we'll get more buyers. They already know how much the property is worth.
And I think, one of the things that's been really different with real estate in this day and age, like back when I was in real estate, I'm talking in the early 2010s, right?
Yes.
There was social media, but not the way it is today. Like, do you think social media has helped transparency or just made smoke and mirrors worse?
I think that's a really good question, Joe. And it really depends on to the person who's using that.
True.
Whether I want to use it to show transparency, or whether I want to use it to make things up and look like some genuine information to the people.
Yeah. And that's a good point that you bring up, because it's your intent. It's every agency has the intention.
Yes.
If the intention's wrong, you're going to see content that, and you know these agents. Like I'm talking directly to you guys, the audience. You know these agents. You've seen these listings that it's very obvious to see that, you know, that's AI. You know, that's not a true image. That's fake information. You went to the inspection, you didn't see that. So you know what is there, but you need to know how to spot when someone's doing good, you know, or being that transparent agent. And I think the hardest thing these days is the AI with photographs. That's the biggest one I've seen online is I'm like, wow, that looks like a really nice place. And then I'm like, huh, that's weird. And then I'll go to the property and go, that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist, yes.
And it's bad. It's, you know, it's not helping the image at all, I think, of the industry. And I think that the ones that do it right and just present properties like, you know, with the right staging or even no staging, they're just putting up what it is.
The property, yes.
And I think this is why you have such a good reputation in what you do, is everything that I've seen from your listings online. Like I was having a look this week and I'm like, some nice properties, because I love properties. Sometimes I just like to look. And I was on Agent Plus's site and I'm like, wow, these are so nicely presented, and just even the ones that don't have staging necessarily, they're still in a really nice condition or in a condition that's presentable for market.
Definitely.
And I think that's kudos to you and the procedures you've set out in the team.
Yes, yeah. No, thank you. We try and make sure that everything we do is, even if we need to launch a property, we'll launch it a week later or two later. But we don't want to tamper with the marketing of the property or the campaign, because it might not be something to us, but to someone who's selling that can be like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And that's the responsibility that you're carrying.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I guess, what do you think it'll take for the industry to rebuild, you know, this image that has unfortunately been branded on them?
I think you go with the reviews that they have got and see what the recent properties they have sold and what are the reviews they've got from selling those properties.
That's true.
And see their Google reviews, see their reviews on Rate My Agent or realestate.com. I think that's the best part, and that's your first step. And once you see, okay, these are 1 or 2 or 3 agents that we want to choose from, have them over. People are smart these days. They just pick like that. Anything, if an agent is being fishy or something's not right, they'll just pick it like that.
No, it's true. I actually think that's a really good point. It's all in the review. Like someone who's had the experience already, that's what you can kind of back and trust, because I think it's one of the platforms, I can't remember which one, but they can't leave a review unless they've actually worked with you. I can't remember if it's Rate My Agent. One of those used to have this feature where if you weren't a valid buyer, you couldn't leave a review. Or, a valid seller or vendor, you couldn't leave a review. I can't remember which one.
The both Rate My Agent and realestate.com, they work the same way.
So this is what I'm saying to you guys. When you see, the realestate.com or Rate My Agent, and you're like, oh, nah, I don't trust the reviews either, because I know you guys are all stubborn. Yeah. Know that anyone can't leave a review. So it's not, family and friends that are just coming in and saying, hey, he sold this house. It's not, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can do something like that on Google reviews, where anyone can just give you a review. But on realestate.com or ratemyagent.com, they'll take the proper information. Okay, what property are you talking about? Are you a vendor or a buyer? And then they'll take you through to the steps of leaving the review. It's not like you can't just do a review straight away. That's
awesome. So guys, have some faith in those types of reviews. Like that's a really big deal for that trust factor, because you know that these people have actually dealt with that agent, and you can trust that service that they've left behind because of their review is actually going to stand true. And that's a really good point. So I think while everyone's got opinions on what's broken, the best way to see where things go wrong or hear it, we need to hear it from people who live through it. But I want to switch gears into what you do, right? Because your business at Agents Plus, like when we caught up, you've just built such a nice reputation and such a good brand in the area. So we're in the Southeast, you and I. So we met up at our local cafe and had a very long chat. Tell me a little bit about Agents Plus and what are some of the services that you kind of provide to your clients?
So Agents Plus, we are a boutique real estate agency. So we believe that we want to add value in people's life. It's not about how many properties you are selling. It's all about how much you are getting for each property.
Gotcha.
So that's what we are looking for, and that's what we are working for. We're just not selling a property, or we're not a transactional base. It's more sort of what the goals of the vendors are. We just want to be the part of the journey and want to make those goals into reality as soon as possible and as best as possible.
That's awesome. What a great mission. Like I like that it's boutique, because this is the difference of like the franchises. A lot of those agents that you might deal with, they are bound to whatever practices that their head office sets out for them. So it doesn't give them as much leeway, but the benefit of what you're doing is it is boutique and you've created it. So you know how you want to operate and what service you want to deliver.
Yeah, and everything is tailored to the needs and requirements and the goals of our vendors or even buyers. We're not just like being pushy like some of the agents would do. Okay, do this, sign. It's not about that. It's about whether is this going to be the right step for you or not.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if this buy is not the right one, we'll wait for the next one. But we want all but the best for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it makes a big difference when that's your motivation, to have buyers and sellers playing nicely together. It's like, no, I'm not trying to just force that buyer here quickly and put your pen to paper.
Yeah, because even if I do that, let's say, they still have got 3 days of cooling off. They'll cool off.
Yeah, that's right.
For now, they might be under pressure. They might sign. But when they go home tomorrow, day after tomorrow, when they realize, oh, oops, we've done a mistake there, they just write an email. There you go. They'll say, we are out of the deal. What can you do then?
That's true. And then that's it actually makes sense when you put it like that, because, you know, like you said, you're not in the business of just forcing people to sign paperwork to cool off, because it's a big risk for also the campaign from an agent side.
And it's a big decision, not for just a seller, but for a buyer too.
Yeah. A massive decision. Like they're choosing to buy an asset that they're going to live in.
Definitely.
If you want to try and force them into that deal, it never works out.
Yeah, and for some, it won't be just an asset. It might be their like everlasting home.
Yeah, like their dream home or even their final home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think you've been operating in like the Southeast area, like I mentioned. In terms of like your processes, like, so you handle obviously people like your boutique agency and people selling their properties on market. Is there any kind of I guess, can you talk us through a scenario where you've had a seller that's come to you recently and what that kind of journey's been like with them? Like, how's their sale going, or, you know, what's their kind of motivation? How have you helped them?
Okay, so there are actually a couple. I'm just trying to think, okay, which one should I go for?
He's going through the Rolodex.
Yeah. Recently, I'll just talk about the very recent one. I've met one of my clients in my patch area. So they want to sell their investment property. When I went and saw the investment property, the tenants were living in that property at that time, and it was all mold all over. Ooh. The ceiling was like all mold. In the living area, the bathrooms, and that tells one thing: it's never been cleaned, that's never been looked after. In last 5 years, it's been rented. So now we've tried and arranged some trades for that. So paintings, and the gutters were full of mud. So
oh my god!
Yeah.
Where was this actually? Where was this place?
This was in a memory.
Oh, you're remembering? Near your house.
How far away are we talking?
That's Hallam.
Oh,
it's Hallam, just next to Hallam.
Yeah, of course.
You know where the Bunnings is?
Wait, right near Dufton?
Yeah. No, it's like where you say, I think BP, is it on the opposite side? Just kind of on the back side.
Yeah, right. So right there. Okay.
Yeah, just kind of back side.
Okay,
so,
I know that area.
Yeah, so there were like some roof tiles that were mislocated.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so we got that fixed. Had some painters, they like painted the whole ceiling. So we got that issue fixed. Yeah. Got the gutters cleaned and everything, and we'll be launching that property soon in about a couple of weeks' time. So we're just waiting. We've already provided sufficient notice to the tenants. So they can vacate the property, and so that said, I can go onto the market with the tenants in there, but do you want them in the property while we'll be selling, knowing that this is kind of a care they did for the property in the past 5 years?
Yeah, because it's also like, why didn't they inform anyone that there was mold? Maybe we could have fixed that issue years ago.
Yeah. And they were living with it. They were not having any issues. Like, okay,
wow,
it's fine. I said, it's mold. You should at least clean it.
Oh, God. Yeah. And I think people don't realize how much effort goes into that. I've got a whole other problem with house maintenance that we're not taught about, right? But when you're getting to sell a property, this is often where you find a lot of problems, because part of your role as the agent is you're coming in and, like you said, you spotted all the problems straight away and said, oh, no, we can't put this on market in this condition.
In this condition, definitely.
Because it makes a big difference, in terms of value as well.
Massive difference. Because someone else, if someone comes in the original condition the property is, they'll see a bargain.
Yeah, that's right.
And spend maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 themselves,
fix
whether
it.
they want to live or invest or whatever they want to do. But if you are willing to take that step, take that effort, spending $5,000 or $10,000, which is you need to spend on because the property was not being taken care of.
Yeah.
So that will be like $20,000, $30,000 or $50,000 plus while selling.
Yeah. And I guess, how much do you kind of recommend to your clients that they fix themselves or fix prior to putting it on the market? Not themselves, but, in this situation, your recommendation was to correct the problems before we put it anywhere. Yeah. How many, and what kind of difference do you see in the vendors that choose not to do something like that versus the ones that do?
So I normally prefer each and every time that if there is something that we need to do before going on to the market, it should be done.
Yeah.
There is no point we will say, okay, we don't want to do this, let's put it onto the market. And when the buyer puts condition of subject to building and pest inspection, then it fails.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no point doing that. Whereas if there's something wrong in the property, it needs a fix, why not doing it beforehand rather than later on when the buyer will come back with a bargain, okay, now I'm going to pay $50,000 less because it's got XYZ issues in them, which needs attention, which needs fix, and we need to spend the money on that.
But that says a lot to me about the way you value your, the integrity part of your business, but also the way you operate, because I think a lot of people go, oh, God, why did they put that property up and it's full of issues and they're asking a premium for it? And, how much of that is on the owner who refuses to fix problems and wants a premium versus the agent who's saying, probably behind the scenes more likely, fix it if you want this price. And they refuse to fix it. How do you kind of navigate those discussions with vendors who refuse to say, no, I'm not spending money and this is the property?
Then it is a very simple thing there. It is what it is.
Yeah, so it's too bad.
Yeah, too bad. So we are not the buyers.
Yeah.
We are the communicators. We are the negotiators. We'll communicate whatever the buyers are going to communicate to us. So we'll just deliver this message from the buyer to the vendor. It's up to them. It's their property.
Yep.
They've hired us. They've hired us to do a job for them, which is we are educating them, which we're guiding them and getting them sold.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, there's a lot of things that falls on the way. And we need to make sure that we are communicating those to them as well in terms of vendor reports or in terms of the buyer feedbacks. So it's up to the vendor at the last of the day. If they say, okay, we don't want to do anything, sell it as is, then you need to be prepared to take the money that the buyer sees a value at of the property.
And I think that's key what you said, because that's part of what you're then educating the vendors on, saying that's fine, don't spend the money, but then don't expect your return to be here. Your return's probably sitting here.
Yeah.
And you let the market determine ultimately what the price is. And this is what I kind of always say, when I think of underquoting as an example here, yes, there's sometimes very obvious underquoting, but at the same time, regardless of what price is there, the market determines what they're going to pay for it. Definitely. Someone's going to turn up and see that it's worth $900,000. Now, if they want to offer $900,000 because they know the value, they're going to offer $900,000 and they're going to buy it. Where it's a problem is for those buyers that don't take the time to educate themselves on the market or the average price of that market, and then they go to an auction and try to buy it at 650,000. That's where I have a problem with it, because I'm like, what are you doing?
Sometimes people get carried away with the emotions. And, yeah, and they just want to get that property even at a price which is way above the value of the property.
Yeah.
And if they really love it, it's worth it for them.
Yeah, it's correct, if that's what they want.
Yeah. We were talking about what's the median, or we are talking about all the comparable sales prices. But for them, it might be worth $1 million.
Yeah, and it's like because it ticks every single box.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah. Like the other buyer one day I was having a chat with, they wanted a particular property. Is they say, okay, even if it goes to 1.5, my budget is 1.2, but I can stretch to 1.5.
Yeah.
But if it ticks most of our boxes, because we are looking at 1,000 meters case plus block.
Wow.
And that's not something that you find easily these days.
Yeah.
So they're willing to pay over for that, which is good for them. They said they're at lovers and they would like to have a few dogs on the property. But where they are now, they don't have much space for that.
Yeah, and I think you've got it right. You know, it's, yes, there's an emotional part, but if it's doing what you want it to do for you, for your goals, for your mindset and your future, then people value it differently. It's
Definitely.
like, yes, if I was an investor, would I buy it? Probably not.
No.
It's not for me. But if I'm buying it because I need to live here for 20 years, then my mindset's different.
Yes, that's true.
It's like I need to love it. And if it costs me a little bit more to love it, I will buy it.
And I think to some extent, if you are in love with the property, it takes a price tag a little bit away from the property.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because you're buying on emotion.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think I want to switch one more gear here because, you know, I love an opinion. Thank you for being so brutally honest. And I'm loving the way you're answering my questions, honestly, because I know they're not easy. And I promised our listeners I wouldn't I wouldn't disappoint.
Bring it on.
That's it. Bring it on. We've got the right guy for the job. I like to do a segment called Reddit. Right, so we get submitted stories from our listeners every week by email that share stories from the Oz Property Chat on Reddit, and they'll tell us, get a guest to talk about this and tell me what they would do. So I have some real Aussies, real life situations, and what they're saying about, agents, and it's a mix of heartbreak, happiness and chaos. So I wanted to call this segment, The Agent Told Me, ... Okay. And what I want you to do, Gurpreet, is you're going to tell us what's maybe really going on behind the scenes potentially, right?
So I'm just doing the guesswork as a hearing.
Correct.
Right?
You're just guessing that this is probably what could be happening, right, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Whether these are problems like bad luck or bad practice. That's the question. So is this just bad luck or bad practice?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. I won't be too hard on you. So this one here is interesting, and we've been talking about it today. Blatant underquoting. What can be done? Why are they underquoting the range so much still? 590,000 to 640,000, only to sell at almost 800,000. What can we even do about it? So this one's from a buyer that is just fed up. They can't plan and they can't compete, and it feels rigged. So what's your take? Why is this still happening, and how does it affect honest agents?
So it's basically, I think, the take they're trying to take here is underquoting and getting most buyers in through the door and making them feel like, okay, they're going to get a bargain here.
So do you reckon it's bad luck or bad practice?
I think it's a bad practice. Knowing that they're sitting at $800,000, it should be somewhere within the range that the vendor's going to accept that, rather than just like portraying any flashy figure, which is miles and miles away from the target the vendor wants to achieve.
Spot on. And I always find it a waste of time for an agent to do it anyway, because why do you want to deal with everyone who you can never sell to? You already know they're never going to go there.
Definitely.
Why do you want to do that?
Why you want to put a figure and someone who's going to come at that price, okay, this is something that suits our pocket or we can afford.
Yeah.
And then drops up and they find out, oh, oops, it's for $800,000. But your price is saying, okay, it's from 5 something to 6 something.
I just don't get it. It's like when I'm in an agent brain, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. If the house is worth 800,000, don't give me the 600,000 people because they're never going to buy it. Yeah. The vendor's never going to sell it I'm not, why would I do that to myself just to be frustrated? So, no, I agree. Well said. Bad practice. This next one says, the agent lied about another bidder. Says here, the agent told us there was another bidder to push our offer higher. Turns out there wasn't. Do we have any recourse? This is classic, right? In the middle of everything, of what's already one of the most stressful moments in someone's life, do you think this kind of pressure tactic to say there's another buyer is cultural in real estate, or is it just bad apples?
Oh, it can be either or, to be honest. If there is a buyer, then there is another buyer.
Yeah.
But if the buyer is so serious, why are they not on auction? Or why are not they
They're not
present
there.
over here? Yeah. So that tells like it can be a bad practice.
I love it because, you as the consumer, the buyer, all you have to do is go to the open for inspection.
Yes.
If there's no one there and then the agent says to you, we have another buyer.
Yeah. And
You could.
and even if the property is going on to auction and you don't want to bid, still you are a buyer and you are a genuine buyer. That's why you're there.
That's right. Yeah. So it's like you're buying with intent, or you're intending
Yes.
to bid.
Yeah.
And that makes you just as qualified as the next person. So, Yep, well said. This next one is, our agent ghosted us after the first week. It says, we offered above the asking and never heard back. They just disappeared. Communication seems to be a running theme here, or lack of it. What's your process for keeping clients in the loop so they don't feel like this? Like, do you ever have buyers in this position who...
I've had these situations not a while ago, but very recently, where a buyer's I was working with the buyer and they said, okay, we like the property because if I don't have something that will suit them, I'll try and guide them. Okay, there's a property just listed with XYZ agency. Just go there and see if you like that.
You
Go for
really
it.
do that?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
But look, if I don't have something that will suit them, why I want to sell them something which they don't want to buy?
Yeah.
Will you buy something that you don't want to buy?
No.
Saying it's someone pressuring you, just buy it.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, but if someone helps you, okay, I don't have that kind of a thing available, but I can direct you where you can find that.
It's really clear to me, like, you value relationships in this industry, right? Because the fact that you're helping the buyer, even if it's not your listing, you're not going to get paid from this transaction. Yeah. But maybe in 6 years when they decide to sell that property, they're going to remember you.
Definitely. And it's like, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
And if you try and help someone, genuinely, if you want to try and do that, they'll see.
Yeah.
And if you're not taking any commission breath or anything, like if I have something which will suit them, they'll be my first person on my call list.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, I've just getting this, or I've just signed this. Do you want to come down for a private inspection and see if this one suits you?
Yeah.
And so.
And do you find your buyers, I think they would really appreciate that, especially in this market. A lot of people tend to be on the market for months these days. Do you find that a lot of them are very thankful that you've even remembered that they were looking?
Yes, yeah. I like normally, and your question was previously that how do I follow up with them? So even if I've got an offer, I'll give a ring to each and every buyer who came to that property, telling them if we've got an offer and we've got within the range or just wherever it is, not disclosing the price, of course, and then letting them know if you guys are really serious about buying, now's the time.
Yeah.
You need to place an offer or it's going to be too late for you guys later on. So just wanted to make sure that if you are interested, you need to make an offer now or in the coming 1 or 2 days, whenever you're going to present the offers to the vendors.
Yeah. Far out. Like, and it makes sense, right? Because sometimes I always see that that offer process, like the fact that you call everyone back. So I'm assuming that even if they don't win, those offers that did come in, you're calling them to say they weren't successful with that.
Definitely. Always.
You'd be surprised how many people tell me that they just don't hear back.
I just tell them I would love you guys to be successful.
Yeah.
Recently sold a property and that was signed in just 48 hours.
Whoa, jeez. Well done.
had a few interested buyers and 2 of them, they were like really excited and put their best offers in.
Yep.
Negotiated with them and then one of them got successful, and the other ones we got them another property
Yeah.
for themselves. So
Swings and roundabouts.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. And I think, one of the things I wanted to mention here was this next one is interesting, but it's in Brisbane, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. So this one says, selling my house in North Brisbane. The agent insisted on auction and short campaign. So it says here, agent insisted auction was the only way. Now I feel pressured into a strategy I'm not comfortable with. So this one's interesting because it's not about lying. It's about the pressure on what's going to be successful. When does confidence as an agent become coercion? And how do you balance guiding clients with respecting their comfort level or what they want to do?
Okay. So that's an interesting question, Joe. Normally, the auctions campaign is about 4 to 5 weeks, and it really depends what is short term in terms of the vendor. Are they thinking, okay, 4 weeks is a really short term?
Yeah.
Or what figure do they have in mind? Okay, we need 8 weeks, so we need 12 weeks to sell this house. And that's going to be enough time for us to market the property and get us the best buyer.
Yeah, true.
Whereas if they're trying to do an auction, and if the market says auctions can bring the best result to you, then as I mentioned earlier, 4 to 5 weeks is the best time that your property is under limelight. Everyone is viewing it, and all the interested buyers are seeing that property in that time. And if they're really interested, they rock up onto the auction if the auction is kept at 4th or 5th week.
Yeah, so it makes sense, right? Because with this one, what I find interesting is like that pressure to be under the strategy, but
Yeah.
Everyone's got their opinion on what works well, like
Yeah.
as in
Yeah.
you're hiring an agent for their expertise.
Yes.
Why would you fight them on
Definitely.
it? But then at the same time, if you're not comfortable or you don't have confidence in it, it always brings me back to then the agent hasn't said something that has convinced you that this is the
Definitely.
correct method.
So I think there's a education gap over here. So either the agent hasn't educated the vendor properly. Okay, this is how we are going to take the steps, and this is where we are today, and this is where we want to be in another 4 weeks or 6 weeks time.
Yeah.
And this is how everything will go. So they are aware of the whole process, and they're less stressed at the end. They know where they are heading to.
No, it makes complete sense. I think you said that so nicely, and thank you for answering those so honestly. I think we've actually debunked a fair few here because it's just the reality behind. I think I like to use these Reddit stories with our listeners because I think often when you make up a scenario, it's very easy to answer. But when you actually get someone who's in real life telling you this is a problem.
And this is the problem they're going through.
Yeah, and then having to answer for it, it gives it that element of a genuine point of advice or guidance to them that hopefully if these people are listening today, that they're walking away going, okay, all right. I'll ask more questions. Or I'll ask Gurpreet. I think Gurpreet's going to be very busy. So let's talk about, I guess, what rebuilding that trust actually looks like, not just for you personally, like as in you've got that trust factor with your clients, that much is obvious. And like I said, I can go back to reviews, but I think this interview has really shone a light on how you actually approach these situations. Like you're very much like just focusing on the process. It's like, I'm here for your best interest. That's the difference in all the agents I've interviewed.
And that's our goal.
Exactly. It's like just need to help.
Yeah.
Genuine help. I guess what advice would you give sellers for spotting the difference? Like, when they're interviewing agents and they're interviewing 3 agents, what's some of the differences they can spot between someone who's trying to just win business versus this is a good strategy?
Okay. So number 1 would be the price. Just see if they are telling you the price that they think the property is worth, or they're just telling you the price because you want to hear that price.
Okay. So would you say that as a seller, I should tell you the price, or I should be quiet and let the agent dictate?
It can be either or, because the vendors are at the end of the day, they are aware about the price. How much the properties in the neighborhood are selling for and how much their property is worth. Everyone would have a fair bit of an idea already.
True.
So if you see, okay, your price and the agent's price is sitting around the range, even if it is like a tiny bit of a difference in that should work.
Yeah.
But if you are saying of 1 million and the agent is saying 1.2, there can be something fishy in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The price is very important.
The price is very important. And number two is like, don't be get pushed into signing, sign there, without. I've had some instances of some vendors who told like, okay, they've not been told that they're signing the agency agreement. And they just told like, okay, you're just signing this paperwork. So we can start the process, or we can just tell our buyers, okay, this property is just like.
So the vendors aren't even aware that they're signing the exclusivity.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah, it's not happening everywhere, but there are some examples that I've heard from a couple of them from my experience and a few from the industry too.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. But it's one of those things. Is there any type of, the time frame on an authority? Would you say any time frame is necessarily a red flag, or is it dependent on like the property type? If someone wants to have the property for, say, 6 months versus like a 2-month authority?
I think the more they're trying to get you on the authority, the more bonded you are going to be with them. So normally it's about 90 days.
Yeah.
Generally, like some would depend, okay, we just need, if you feel like, okay, the property is really promising and we only need just 2 months, some people would just go for 2 months. Okay, if I'm not able to sell it, you're happy to go wherever you would like to.
Yeah, makes sense.
And whereas some people would say, okay, let's do 180 days, for example, for 6 months. And in that way, you are bound a longer period with them. And in the meantime, sometimes people do get frustrated and they'll just see, okay, we'll let it go.
Yeah, because like you spend so much money with that agency. So I'm always like, just be cautious if someone tells you that they want it for 6 months. Like, what's the reason behind it?
And it really depends what kind of situation they are in. For example, the old couple example that I told you, they were so frustrated by the time that I met them, and I told them, this is the process. We need to do that again because the first agent, he didn't do the job right. Yeah. So they were so, I would say, frustrated already.
Yeah,
and they were so curious that they said, like, is there any way we can avoid the open homes? Because we have done a lot of open homes in past 4.5 months. My wife, she has got her knee surgery just recently done. She can't walk properly. And it's winters now. The property was listed in January. And she can't hold the weather outside now. I said, like, unfortunately, this is something that you have to do. Because
to get the result.
To get the result. And I don't mind if she can't go outside. She stay in the house. But some of the buyers, they'll be hesitant to inspect the property knowing that someone else or the owner is already in there.
Yeah, makes sense. So it's like just knowing, I guess, like the clients and what their needs are, like not being locked into an authority for 10 years
Yes.
is always a good step.
Yes.
And are there any others that come to mind, or those would be the main two?
I think those would be the main twos. And I think. And people are like smart these days, so you can pick.
Yeah, you can pick when someone's being a bit smart.
Smart, yeah.
And, Gurpreet, we've come to the end of our time so quickly, and I'm spewing because I have more questions. So we'll bring you back on the show another time and we'll debunk more myths with you. But I want to leave with a last few final bits of advice. What's your no BS advice for sellers choosing an agent that they can actually trust?
So try and find someone who feels more genuine to you. It's not like, okay, I've sold this, I've sold that. Anyone can sell. You don't need an agent to sell your property. You can sell it yourselves too.
True.
But try and see if someone is educating you, guiding you, and telling you all the steps and processes and procedures with the time, so that they're making you more comfortable being with them, rather than, okay, I've sold this, I've sold that. Everyone is selling.
I like the way you say that, because it's true. I think often when we meet agents, we do ask for what's your strike rate? How many homes have you sold today? And what did you do last month? And what's your price?
and interestingly, Joe, like, look, it's not about, for example, an agent who is selling 10 homes or versus with an agent who's selling 2 or 3 homes. Yeah. The agent who sells less does have more time. Yeah. Whereas sometimes, I'm not talking about it, it's not the scenario every time, but sometimes the agent who is selling more, they're all so occupied that they
True.
don't have much of a time to negotiate about your property, getting the highest price to you, whereas someone who is just doing quality work and they can just, negotiate on your behalf, getting you to the top dollar that you deserve.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take I didn't think of. It's true because when you have more volume to deal with, it is hard to juggle.
And it becomes like transactions. If, for example, if you think like, you are a volume-based agent, you want to get rid of your stock. You want them to be sold as soon as possible. So does an agent who is already so busy, do they really care about getting you every single dollar from the buyer's pocket to you? Or they'll see, they are looking to sell at $800,000. Boom, I've got them 800. My job is done. Whereas the buyer that's been sitting in front of them, they might have $50,000 or $60,000 more to negotiate.
Oh my God, that's so true. I love that. Really good advice, really good tip. And I think a lot of our sellers who are tuning in are thinking about this more and more now and giving them something different. And I guess, I want you to finish this sentence. The best thing about being an agent at Agent Plus who tells the truth is, what's the best thing?
The best thing would be to sleep peacefully, knowing that I've done everything transparently, being honest with everyone, and I've done every follow-up and I've done every call that I need to do at the end of the day.
I love that.
Just did my 100% today and that's it.
I love that. Gurpreet, thank you so much for coming on the show and for being so raw and honest with us. I know that everyone listening is going to get a lot out of this episode. And for those of you who are tuning in, if you want to get in touch with Gurpreet, I'm going to tell you, like I always say, it costs nothing to pick up the phone and have a phone call or a coffee. You can get your questions answered. If you're unsure about anything, Gurpreet is very passionate about education. If it's not obvious from this episode, I don't know what you need to get from him, but you will get a lot out of that discussion, even just to get some guidance on your next steps. And I'm sure Gurpreet would agree that, he's happy to chat to anyone who has those questions.
Happy to help anyone. That's why I'm in the game.
That's it. Thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me.
Of course. And I'm sure we'll hear from Gurpreet again and again because I've got some plans. So we'll talk offline. But thank you to our listeners for all the support and for tuning in once again. You'll find Gurpreet's details and links for Agents Plus in the show notes below. And if you've ever been burned by a bad campaign or you've felt ghosted by an agent, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. There are bad apples, there are good apples, and we got a really good apple today on our show. Thank you again.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, I'm Joe Agresta, and this has been the No BS Real Estate Podcast. We will see you next time. That's a wrap for this episode of the No BS Real Estate Podcast, powered by Abode AI. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might need it. If you're looking for more guidance on your home buying journey, you can visit www.abode.com.au for expert advice, property insights, and the tools you need to find the right home with confidence. If you're already on your journey, you can also download our app. Just search Abode AI on the App Store or Google Play. Have any questions or want to connect, you can follow us on Instagram at abode.com.au or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.